Well, is it game over for former President Jacob Zuma? The Constitutional Court has handed down a decision compelling him to appear before the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture. Does this decision strengthen the Zondo Commission? Well, those are just some of the questions we'll be asking. Benedict Phiri of IUS Prudentia joins me now. Benedict, good evening and thank you so much for your time. Well, it certainly does look like the former president has run out of options. This is a ruling coming from the highest court in the land. So are there any options for him to get out of it by way of other court processes?
There are certainly no other options for the former president to get out of it. As you rightfully said, it's a ruling from the highest court of the land, very strong ruling at that. All the judges unanimous and putting their full weight behind it. Very strong words used to describe his conduct. Some of the words used are reprehensible conduct. There's really no more space to maneuver for the former president.
In fact, let's take a look at part of what the Constitutional Court said in this judgment. They said the former president, by not wanting to appear before the Zondo Commission, was in breach of the law, and that they needed to show that he isn't above the law, even though this is the law, at least by way of the establishment of the commission, which he himself had set up.
Yeah, and absolutely correct. And I think the Constitutional Court should be applauded for upholding the rule of law. Jacob Zuma was acting contrary to the rule of law, as the Constitutional Court has pointed out. Everything he has done in relation to the commission has been in direct contravention of the law, the directives that the Deputy Chief Justice has given in terms of the Commission Act. In fact, even the agreements that the former president had reached with the Deputy Chief Justice around when he would appear and affidavits that he would furnish the commission with. So he has actually had no regard whatsoever to the legal standing of this commission and the powers that it has conferred on it by the Constitution. And ironically, he actually signed the directives putting this commission into effect himself.
Interestingly, when one listens to judgments of the Constitutional Court, they also just tend to bring a level of sobriety and clarity to matters. So they had some harsh words also for the Commission of Inquiry, saying, well, actually, part of the reason why you have created this mess, this blunder, as they put it, is because there does seem to be an impression that Zuma was treated much more favorably than other witnesses.
Yes, absolutely. I don't think they compare him to other witnesses, but they certainly have some harsh words for the commission in how they went about securing the former president's evidence and attendance at the commission. It's essentially, he was handled with kid gloves, and I think the words used by the Constitutional Court were that it was done in a maladroit fashion. But fortunately, the Constitutional Court found it more of an important public activity, and that the public interest demands that the former president, still appear at the commission. And, on that basis could almost excuse the commission's not so stellar handling of their interactions with the former president.
When we look at the options from here on in terms of what happens, should the former president not decide to appear next month when he's been called before the commission, does that mean that he's facing jail time?
He absolutely would have committed a crime under the Commissions Act, and I think the Constitutional Court judgment absolutely supports that interpretation. So it will be up to the prosecuting authorities and the Deputy Chief Justice Zondo to ensure that any criminal charges that can be brought against the former president are done so, and are done so swiftly. And then the prosecuting services will then take the matter over. Unfortunately, the Commissions Act has a very limited jail time. It is 6 months or a fine or both, depending on which sections he would be charged under. So not such a massive deterrent, you would say, for this. Yeah.
Let's also talk about what the impact of this is going to be for other witnesses potentially, because there was the impression created that the disregard being shown to the commission by the former president will embolden others who feel that they actually don't have the right to, they actually don't owe it rather to the South African public to be honest or to even come to account for part of what has been happening in the state. Do you think that the ruling today by the Constitutional Court will deal with those notions?
I absolutely think so. I think it sends the right message to other witnesses that are still to appear before the commission. And I think the Constitutional Court also made quite an important remark around the fact that actually the Commissions Act does create somewhat of an amnesty, right? If you are implicated in criminal conduct, it just reminded witnesses that, if you actually say, or if you share the evidence and testimony, it cannot be used against you in future criminal proceedings, and I think that is an important reminder to assist the truth gathering function of a commission. So I think, what the Constitutional Court has done is really set the tone for an orderly end to this commission, or at least the progression of it from henceforth.
Let's leave it there for tonight. Benedict Phiri, thank you so much for your time.